Hi, my name is Theodore Cottingham, and I love you. And I share with you about my school, the future of my school, and what it schools people to be, no longer entranced in a system of worship, of servanthood, of spectatorship, of waiting on a divine manifestation of their thinking, a deity appearing in the sky, a rapture to change our reality, or where we live, or what we do, or how we think, or what we consist as. My school teaches all of this and more. My name, the School of Creation, Theodore Cottingham School of Creation. And that's what I'm sticking with for the moment. For the moment. To unstick a lot of things that you've been stuck in, and a lot of beliefs, and a lot of systems that have stuck to you. I think about things getting stuck to you. Pardon me. I think about my next door neighbor in Tulsa years ago. One day we were talking out in the front yard, and he said, you know, I'm afraid to go anywhere. I'm afraid to drive anymore. So what do you mean? He says, I've had somebody rear end me. They ran their car into the back of my car 5 times now. He said, it's like I'm scared to go out. Somebody else is going to rear end me. I remember that little conversation and have thought of it many times. How certain things occurred. Distasteful things, annoying things, hurtful things sometimes that happen so often we suddenly begin to expect them. Fear creeps in. And then we alter our behavior, our lifestyle, our thinking, our consciousness according to that fear, because we embrace the fear rather than the power. To overcome it, I suggest to you that you are really a very powerful person. And we have not known our power. We have not known what we can do, what our capacity is to heal, to love, or in fact, what love does when it's unconditional, when it's not given with the expectation attached to it. You just love. You love because you become it. You become love in your 2 shoes. You become love. So it's not just what you do, it's who you are. You embody love. Oh my. maybe a very different life than what you're used to. But so many people create around them. Pardon. Not what they want, but they create around them what they want to avoid because they give energy to their consciousness to avoid it, and in so doing, create it. So you have this conundrum. Thank you for being with me. So the title of my message, my lesson, the title of this moment is, I'm changing the lighting. I don't know. Is that better? Worse? I don't know. You see, I'm always changing something. Trying to be a little more effective. Not always more efficient, but anyway. So I titled this video, Meology Replaces Christology. I mentioned this, I think, yesterday or day before. I woke up a day or two ago, about 4 a.m., with that phrase. I mean, my head's still on the pillow and maybe more asleep than awake, but Meology replaces Christology. Meology replaces Christology. That's a major statement, a significant assertion, ludicrous in the minds of many. But you see, there's a time, and this is the time. The time for what? A seismic shift. A shift in what? A shift from our consciousness of who we have been to a new consciousness of who we are creating to be it. For we are the creators. And we are no longer dumbed down by those who want to train us to serve, who preach that they want to save our soul. I don't want to save my soul. I want to get rid of it. I want to render it powerless. My soul, my achy, breaky soul, that achy, breaky thing, that thing that creates so many emotions, so many wants, creates a want that is insatiable for this, that, and the other. Sometimes meaningless triviality, trivial things. But see, our mind has been rejected by us. We reject. We've been taught to reject who we are. We've been taught to proclaim and appropriate our energy and our worship, our dollars, to support a theory that a God exists apart from us, that created us, that loves us enough to create a hell to demand that we serve it and worship it, and threaten us with the threat of eternal damnation In the flames of hell? That God loves me so much? Bull. I don't want that God. I don't subscribe to that God. That God is no longer dismantling me, my authority to see, my opportunity to choose, to know and understand. My mind? The paradigm for many years for hundreds of thousands of people and millions of people have been to go to a worship center called a church, a cathedral, a temple, and worship, to proclaim their allegiance, to proclaim their subservience to a God, a deity that somebody told them they should worship. That message created worshipers. But see, I titled this lesson, I woke up with this phrase the other morning about 4 a.m. Meology replaces Christology. You see, Christology is a part of a theology centered around what we call Christ. And that Christology says the one and only Christ, the only one and only Christ that there will ever be, came 2,000 years ago. In the Mideast. And he was the only one. He was the only one that there will ever be. But Christology can no more hold the reins on that narrative to feed us that which limits us in our existence. So I'm coming up with a new plan. Not. I've channeled for 21 years. The first 2,400 messages, multi-page messages that I wrote in a stream. They came to me in a stream. There was no editing. I didn't edit them. I didn't wait between sentences or paragraphs. It was simply a stream. And I wrote. And I've shared about how those have come to me and how I wrote them, and even how I was guided to create a referencing system for them, because database 1 is the first database. That's the Meonics covenant that I call the first database. So a referencing system came forth. And the referencing system is very important in my school. This is very important. This is not trivial. So the referencing system in these messages. Now, I'm telling you about mine, but I'm also sharing with you for you to create yours. Because if you're in this school, you're going to be writing too. And you're going to learn to channel. And you're going to learn to value your words and keep track of them. And be able to reference them and link them. Because when you begin to create pictures, word pictures, pictures with words, not just icons, but composing a reality. that you will walk in. So the referencing system for database 1 that you can draw from, maybe do the same thing or not for you. They're basically digits in 3 positions. Database 1. So in essence, for example, 1.3.100 would be database 1, volume 3, lesson 100. So you immediately know that message, and you can go to that lesson. And it's even online today. You can actually go find 1.3.100. My website is theodorcottingham.com, and it is a school. I am a school. It is a school to bring forth the school that is within you, to come through you, to compose, to create the words of creation that now seismically shift the earth, the tectonic plates, the mountains of your thinking. Say unto this mountain, be removed into the sea, and the mountain obeys you. The mountain of thought, the coagulation, the assemblage of a bunch of thoughts, creating a mountain. Christology is all about the man. Christology centers around the man, the history, and renders you powerless, asserts that you can accept what he did for you. You can't do it for another. You're not special. In fact, all your righteousness is filthy rags. Get over it, you unmentionable. But, except the grace, except for the grace, the grace, the grace. So somebody else, something else, somewhere else, except the grace message, so that you can come into it. So you bow. You bow and become a worshiper. And you give your life to it. And then that becomes, for so many, all that you feed your consciousness. So you feed that your consciousness, and your consciousness creates it. For you live in your consciousness. Meology changes that story. For I offer you to you. I assert. I let you know. I'm communicating that I have channeled for years a different story. A story of thousands of messages told different ways in a multiplicity of word pictures, paragraphs, with extensive corroboration for me that my words linked to things I didn't know existed at the time. Scientific journals, books, websites, movies, all sorts of things. So, this model of being a worshiper, where we center our lives around the message of trying to study to show ourselves approved, a workman that needs not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. We're leaving that model, that understanding. Meology is about understanding the message of Jesus. to become what he became. So this is giving way. The traditional model, the traditions of the church model is going bye-bye. You see, the church model creates a hierarchy. And you're way down on the list. God the Father, Jesus, Holy Spirit, angels, seraphim, cherubim, whatever. No, my friend, all that's going bye-bye. And you're at a very special time. You're hearing this message. You, the opportunity, have. You have the opportunity, no matter how I say that, no matter whether I put the verb in the middle or the end of the sentence, or begin with the verb. You see, the highly controlled message, the highly controlled narrative of Jesus is giving way to the reality of the revelation of the truth of who you are, what you can do, how you can connect and create and enjoy this life of creation that you recreate to be no longer home on the range of isolation in an energy field that only uses your energy to keep you separate. So, it's a great day. I give thanks for it. I give thanks for you. I give thanks for you listening to this message. Tradition can no longer keep you sitting in a pew. For this, I'm holding up a picture. Millions of people honoring Christ, loving Christ, Christ how they define it, Christ how they image it, Christ how they feel about it, the Christ that they read about, the Christ that they continue to be taught about, the Christ that they study year after year after year, sitting in the same pew sometimes, reading the same books, going over the same Bible studies. Isn't that studying, never arriving at the truth? The mind doesn't care what you believe or what you study. Your mind does not have the ability to tell truth from untruth. It's a recorder. It's a machine. It's an organic machine with the neurons, the organelles, the quarks, the physiological, chemical communication system, electrochemical, physical communication system. But there's just so much more to the story. You're not limited to your physique or your physical appearance or what you think it is. Or are you limited by what you think or what you're willing to understand? What's going on up here? Is it a creation machine? Or is it a creation limiter? Is it like a governor on an engine set to keep an engine from not going above so many RPMs or so many miles per hour? Is this what gives us the speed of light limit? What is it? 186,300 miles per second? That's a governor. That's slow, my friend. You see, if you're capped at the speed of light, how can you traverse the heavens? How are you going to check out Andromeda or some other galaxy, some other constellation? There is a seismic shift. I guess that's my word for today, seismic shift. You see, Jack isn't in the box anymore. Jesus came out. Came out. Jesus comes out. The man. And when you see the Christ, it's a woman. The patriarchal system created everything around man. Man, male God, God the Father. I'm not under God the Father, and neither are you unless you put yourself under it. And even then, what you're putting yourself under is what you think the words other people have given you mean to you and what they say. But if you're not willing to know the truth, you can remain in fear, being intimidated, living a life inhibited, saying at every corner, there's a lion in the street. Oh, I might hear a false witness. Plug up my ears. Be an ostrich, a couch potato. Listen only to the party line. You decide. John 14:12, I quote so often. Do you know it? Have you memorized it? Have you memorized it? Do you know what it means? Will you go beyond the words, deeper than the shallow meaning of what people have told you it means? Where Jesus said, if you believe in me, you'll do the things I do. Will you let unconditional love explain things to you? Explain things to you so that knowledge flows to you, that you are willing now to receive, that even though there be a little trepidation initially, you begin to be willing to learn, to open. You begin to acquire. Acquire what? The faith? No, damn the faith. Why? Faith has been taught us. Oh, it's required? Faith is required to please God? No, that's not the paradigm. So let's take all the faith, the faithorite, the faithorology, faithology, and set it aside. And be willing to do what? What will I do if I don't have faith? You may say. Surrender. So in all my channeling unconditional love, channeling this new paradigm of power that comes forth for every person to see. This is not something you worship, but if you fall in love, you become it. It and you are not separate creations, separate people, separate entities. You don't have a separate existence. You become what it is. You become love in your shoes, unconditional love in your shoes, and you are not powerless. So what will you do today, this Thanksgiving Day, if you have the ability to walk on water, feed 5,000, empty the hospital, the ICU, raise the dead? What will you do? Are you going to sit home and watch football all day? Oh, let's go down to church. Hope the service isn't long. Damn, it was an hour. Or what? Faith is much more ludicrous. To believe in the vicarious atonement that some deity eons ago created us to worship it. The Creator wants our worship, but says our worship is as filthy rags? Come now. Let us no more constitute the creation of tribulation for each other. So I suggest to you, this is a moment in time like no other. Because you see, we're in this particular picture. Here, everyone is focused on an icon, an image brought forth through the annals of history, the archives of religion, whatever that means, to worship, adore, to bow down, to pledge fealty. This is the paradigm of truth that I offer you, that you, my friend, are going to choose to consider or not. And if you choose to consider this, will lead you in a path that no man can control. And this is the path that the heart of what we called Jesus, the heart of the message, the heart of unconditional love, was not about him being the only Son of God, Son of the Creator, but you are. You're not only the son, the daughter of the Creator, you are the Creator, if you will but learn how, but you have to mature. But see, the idea in this picture, the paradigm, Christology, worshiping the man, the centrality of the Christian message gives way. And now, people in the pew, old, young, black, white, yellow, red, blue, green, pink hair, tattooed, no matter what you want to describe and what kind of headdress they wear, whether they wear turbans or robes, sandals or three-piece suits, are coming in to the knowledge of creation, the knowledge of who you are, the knowledge of who you are, so that you begin to become it and you, not separate. You become a being, a person of light. This is what I'm defining as a light being, a light person, a new creation. Now, this is a new creation, folks. When you complete your training, when you complete your new creation, are you going to create it limitless? Will you love each other without limits? We are entering back into our beginning of the cosmos to recreate it again. See what I have said. Why do I say that phrase sometimes like I do? See what I have said. You can search for that phrase in Database 1. My website is theodorcottingham.com. Theodore Cottingham School of Creation. You can go to that website today, spend all the hours you want to. You can click on the Meonics Covenant, and it will take you to a website, the website I had before this one, that still has the capability for you to search those documents in a phrase. Wildcards are supported. Phrases require quotes. Then you can search for that very phrase. See what I've said. You can search for Meonics. You can search for salvation, rapture. It's over probably 10,000 pages that you're searching. Why would you do so? To learn. But what is it that you want to learn? I teach creation for the Creator to be created again. Who is you? That we're not looking to another creator that created us to be in servant, slavery, servanthood, worshiping, sitting week after week, year after year, under somebody spouting off a message that the kingdom of God is there, the kingdom of God is there, and four walls? God does not exist in a temple made with hands. Those four walls were made with hands. Those temples, those structures, no matter whether they're granite, stone, or whatever, shall fall in 3 days. Fall or have no power? Or will they lose their authority? Or what's happening? See, what are you choosing to hear, see, interpret, feel? Are you willing to feel driven no more to appease the gods, a God, a Jesus, a Savior, a soon-coming King? Are you willing to create? Are you willing, my friend, are you willing to fly? Are you willing to learn things that you never imagined could be possible for you? And then teach others? This is a school. My name is Theodore Cottingham with the School of Creation, creating creators. To create schools, because you see, unconditional love is a flow. It is a flow. And when you begin to come into not just the knowledge of God or the knowledge of even what I'm saying, I'm inviting you to have more than an awareness of what I am saying. Awareness is good. Maybe step one. What's step two? What are you thinking, feeling? What are you willing to encounter? Will you no more be afraid of the lion in the street, the false witnesses? I share with you, Christology gives way to Myology. Myology will overcome theology. Well, there's certainly no fight, but there's growth now. And we are growing out of the containment series that Christology has put us in. Let us go now to another place, another phase, another constellation, another galaxy, another planet. Let us learn to create them. Do we have the power of creation? Well, Bible says power of life and death is in your tongue. There's a story in the Bible about Jesus teaching all day. The disciples come to him. I guess he was taking a break. They said to him, Master, Rabbi, whatever, the people are hungry. Should we go to town and get something to feed them? What was the reply? Jesus said, you feed them. I offer you the idea. They didn't understand. They had not birthed the message of who they are. They hadn't gotten the message to be, to become, to behold their lineage, their opportunity, to become the message in their shoes so that they would be doing all the things he was doing and more. That was the message. They didn't get the message. What did they do after Judas? They came together and drew straws. What? Haven't you questioned those things? Why do you insist on being mortal? Why do you insist on crawling into a grave? Because a book said it's appointed and the man wants to die and then judgment. Ah, the judgment. Love will no more be sat on a pew and told to be silent in the church. Patriarchy will no more rule this world. I do. And who am I? Millions of women and some men who now come to the truth to birth it. To birth it. To experience the new birth, creating the new you. By your word, with your word, through the word, the living word that comes through you that you learn to channel, and through the words that come through you that you learn to channel, that you glean and learn to eat, you begin to fabricate, you begin to create new neural pathways. See, you're the light of the world. Millions begin to come into the I am race of one. And the I am race of one does not need language. It is not dependent upon syllables. because of the language of light. We speak with our mind, with our existence, of who we are and what we are by intent. And we can communicate. And our capacity is great. Our capacity is, in fact, infinite. How do you think all the heavens began? How do you think all those planets got out there? We created them. And we created creations. And there's so much more to the cosmology, the whole story. That's for another time. This is about where we are now on planet Earth. And I have many teachings and many videos on this YouTube channel. And one of the videos I made months ago, The Coming Crisis in Christianity. You see why Christianity may want to fight me, label me Antichrist, label me a false teacher, false this, false that, because they cannot control me, because I break the mold. I break the image that millions have had of the Christ. I break it in the power of these words that I'm giving you and the pictures I'm showing you and what I'm teaching, so that instead of seeing a male figure that you worship and adore and live your life for, you begin to see the picture of the Christ coming forth that has your face, wears your shoes, is your hands, is your life, not separate from the Creator, that you begin to create anew, no longer powerless. So the image is broken. And your little pictures of a white man with long white hair being Christ go in the garbage. Jesus wasn't a white man. Didn't have my complexion. You see, it's not about him. Quit taking your glory and putting it on somebody else or some picture or some philosophy. No matter how much you have experienced the presence of God, the Holy Spirit. Been there, done that. I know what I'm saying. I know what corroborates the traditional Christian message to so many people who are duped by it. I understand the magic, the alchemy, the magnetic appeal, the attraction, seeking of the comfort, seeking of the answer, seeking of the abdication of your responsibility to say somebody else is going to do all this. I just need to be here and not make waves. It'll be okay. Jesus will come. God will come back. It'll be okay. His kingdom will be established for 1,000 years. No, my friend. That's exploded, the whole Jesus image. I explode to never be put together again, to wear my head in separation. No wonder he was looking for where to lay his head. People wanted their own head. They wanted their own consciousness. You see, learn the metaphor. Understand the symbols. Understand what's being communicated this moment and through the Jesus message that I open up to you in this book. You can get it on my website as an ebook. I think it'll be published and you can get it in hard copy. Hold it in your hands so you can read it in your rocking chair or your study soon. If you want a hard copy, you can let me know. You can communicate with me. I've often given you my email address, Theodore Eureka. All one word, Theodore Eureka at gmail.com. And there's a contact page on my website, TheodoreCottingham.com. Theodore Cottingham loves you, but I'm not a flesh man. Well, maybe I am. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not limited to it. But one thing for sure, you are not limited to your flesh. So no matter what you think of me and my limitations, I assert, my friend, that you are not limited. But if you want to worship and remain separate and insist you are a creation of another creator that somewhere created you, that you need to study and show yourself approved so that you don't wind up on that bad list, wind up in hell after you volunteer to die. Even though you can do that if you want to, but I invite you not to. I invite you to come out. Come out of the closet. Come out of the closet wearing the rainbow. Yes, the rainbow. The rainbow. Why the rainbow? It's a symbol of a covenant promise. The symbol of a covenant promise. The promise that I will never leave you or forsake you. Even though you make your bed in hell, I am there because I am you. And because the rainbow, the whole idea, the concept, see the symbol of all colors of the rainbow being one. One rainbow made of many colors. The entire energy spectrum. Have you looked at many pictures of the energy spectrum? How much of the energy spectrum do we see with our two eyes? The energy spectrum is like, yay, this long, okay? And we see an itty-bitty tiny slice with these two eyes. There is so much more reality around us, in us, if we're willing to learn, to know, to surrender, to come as a little child. If you're not willing to come as a little child, don't come to the school. If you're not willing to surrender, if you're not willing to love people that look nothing like you, talk nothing like you, don't come here. This is not a school for the mighty and proud. But this is not a school for beggars. I don't teach servanthood. I don't teach Christianity. I teach Meonics. And Meonics is the study of Meology. Meology, Meonics. Because I know who the real me is. the real me. Christ is all who will be it. All who will be it. Coming into a communication system, a collaborative one. A communication system. A system of creation. And no one can keep you out of it. I request for students in the school to subscribe to a membership subscription. And I appreciate it if you will, and if you do. But money, my friend, will never keep you out of this school. I have offered and offered and offered. And now the time. If you can see, look at the whole picture, but then learn how to see the individuals in the picture. So this may look like somebody saying all the world is centered around the man, Christ, but no, you begin to see a little better every single person wearing a halo, wearing the energy field, wearing the consciousness of one, so that thousands and millions now teach the becoming Christ to be it. And that's my message for you this Thanksgiving Day. Be the Christ in your shoes. And there's so much more to the story. There's 100 questions you can ask. And believe me, I ask and ask and ask. I ask you a lot of questions. I ask me a lot of questions. I ask what I channel, the energy of unconditional love. Because the energy of unconditional love is the state of existence of I am. No longer in an existential state of horror, of intimidation. No longer subject to the arrogance. The arrogant proud with their robes, rings, seals, etc. So I go now. Have a good day. I love you. Be encouraged. Consider these words. The Christ is you who will be it. So the whole model of Christendom and what it is built on crumbles now. Because they say they have posed that message all these years, that it was on the foundation of Jesus. I suggest to you it was on and is still on the foundation of control. Because Christianity wants to control the message, constrict it. It wants to remain in power. The authority of the Christians want to remain in power of their Christianity, their belief system. Believers haven't been taught to become becomers. They've been taught to believe, submit, surrender, wait, sit in a pew, be silent, shut up, and don't make waves. Most of us been there at one point or other, but we're coming out the box, out the box, Jack, out the phone booth, like at the end of the first Matrix movie. Neo goes in the phone box, says a short message. You know what he says? As I recall, I'm going to tell them what you don't want them to know. He finishes the message, hangs up, walks out the phone booth, and what does he do? Neo, the commoner. Jesus, the commoner. What does he do when he walks out the phone booth? He didn't even put on a cape like Superman. You see, love does not limit you. We are no longer beings of earth, constricted to earth with an earthly message that has kept us here. I offer you the idea. It's not necessary to call God God, or to observe rites or rituals, or need a deity, or to create a deity. But we have this message of one who came out the phone booth and ascended and taught us and said, if you believe in me, you will do the things I do and greater. And this is my message, and this is what I teach, and this is my school. And I ask you to teach in my school. If you will be creating your school as you teach, as you learn to channel, as you learn to live, where you link, you learn a new learning system. I haven't spoken about this in quite a while. You see, in Database 1, there's a learning system that's described, that I channeled, called lessonating, where you enter a lesson, just like this 1-hour lesson. You enter it. You begin to see the words, you listen. Maybe you get a transcript. Maybe you pay for it to be transcribed. You subscribe to one of the services like TurboScribe. As far as I can tell, it's a great little service, turboscribe.ai, I think. You download, you record these lessons, and you begin to come into the lessons for a purpose. Because you're after something. What? Creation. To create you again without abdicating your responsibility and your position in the process. This is not something you can accept. This is what you grow, and if you complete it, you birth it, where you come out your womb. You come out the sandbox. You come out the phone booth. Millions do now. See, this is not about me, Theodore. This is about me, you. Or is it about me, all of us? All of us, no longer sitting in a pew, but changing the stars, the star system, the galaxies, the planets. Let's begin with this one. Your country, your community, your sphere of influence, your consciousness, my love. Be conscious this day. Be no more double-minded. I've taught for weeks about the difference between love and love. What I call unconditional love versus control-based love. Love me in your mirror. The one. Because when we all understand we will be as he is if we become as he is. And as he is a woman in childbirth, a feminine grace, a regal nature that nurtures each other. I love you. Jesus the Pattern. Required reading? Oh, you're invited to read it. I gave it away for a while. I gave it away for years. For a while, I offered it for $5, then 10, 15, 19. Then I gave it away again. So many people, I don't know, don't value what they don't pay for. So anyway, at this given moment, as of making this recording, it's $10. That fair. Written over 10 years. And if you decide it's worth it and you want a paperback book printed, let me know. I'm thinking about ordering an order. Theodore Eureka at Gmail. I'm a simple old man. I'm ready to do new things. I'm thankful for you who are listening. I'm so thankful for you because I'm asking you to do what I have done and more and go where no one has gone. Go beyond me no matter what I do. I'm tired. I invite you to start a school. I feel like I want to say, you must learn to channel not double-minded love, not double speak, but unconditional love, and to know the difference. And you can learn as I have learned. You can learn through database 1, those 2,400 messages. You can learn to link. You can learn a new learning system that's described many times in database 1 called lessonating, where you begin to learn and question and search and link and map a new reality. Creating your new creation to be the creator of a new reality, doing all the things Jesus did and more. So be not afraid. Be not afraid of your leadership. This is a school of unconditional love-based leadership. Because you can't be afraid. Oh, you can be afraid. But will you have courage? Will you do it anyway? Developing leadership is all about doing things you may have been afraid. You may still be afraid of. Getting up and standing in front of people, talking. Because you're afraid of their eyes, because you're afraid of their rejection. What are they thinking? Is my zipper down? My slip showing? Why? They look like they're mad at me. As you become you, you are no longer subject to those reciprocations of misunderstanding, malignant, maleficent, what is that? Whatever. You know. You are the power of you. Let your love flow this day. Be kind. Love each other. Let no event, nothing, create a wedge that destroys your love for each other. The greatest thing to serve at your table is unconditional love. Serve it freely, forevermore. I go. I love you. TheodoreCottingham.com. You know how to reach me. You know how to communicate. If you want to grow, you gotta do some things that you're probably hesitant to do, like initiate a phone call to somebody, beginning a share group, not a prayer group, a share group, a study group, a collaborative learning group of the school of these lessons. Are you willing? I pray so. I pray to you. You choose. Good day. See you later. Picture. Oh, a picture to end with. Oh, my little picture created utility chat. Put this one on. Made this one pretty good. When you begin to see, it's no longer about a central figure. It's all about us. The us become one. Good day. I love you all. See ya. Hugs and kisses. Love each other. Good day.